guys, how's it going? So today is pumpkin and squash harvest day, which is a day I have been excited for 110 days to be exact. I did count back. It's been 110 days since I planted the seeds in the ground, and they have been the most fun thing to watch grow and fill up the space. I mean, the fact that they were planted late and I didn't know what the soil was like and all of those things that I've said a million times, I just am so excited just to be able to see some pumpkins and squash peeking through, and I actually don't even know what's out there exactly because they got so thick so fast. I haven't been able to walk through there without crushing vines, so I've pretty much stayed out of there, and I can see like some orange pumpkins and a few of the decorative ones, so I really don't know what we're gonna find. It's gonna be like a treasure hunt. So 110 days though isn't quite long enough maturity time for some of these varieties, which I think falls somewhere between 110 and 130 days. So if I don't wreck all the vines, there are some I might leave on for a little bit longer, but I thought we would go through like how to tell when a pumpkin or squash is ready to be picked, some of the signs you can look for, and then how to harvest them. So what I think we'll do is we will do that first. I'll just find one that's on the perimeter here, and then Aaron said he would come out and help me because some of them are kind of big and heavy, and we're just gonna line them up. We're gonna just make piles out here in the walkways so we can kind of see exactly what we've got of each variety, because I've got a lot. I even have them all typed up. So this is what I originally put in the ground in June. 8 of my original 60 hills did not germinate, and I don't know which ones those were. So some of these may not show up. I did fill in the gaps with Jack B. Littles and Sugar Pie pumpkins, which you won't see on this list. So quick overview of the pumpkin patch. You can see some kind of deterioration of the vines. It has been down, I think we got down to 39. We've been at 39 for a couple of nights. And so that's done a little bit of the damage, but it's also been awful windy, and so that did some as well. And usually when you start seeing your vines start to die down like this, it's getting pretty close to harvest time. So I just want to find like a good classic pumpkin here. I already harvested 2. In fact, I used them up there next to our Savannah urns. But I think this would be a good example right there. Okay, I'm just gonna cut some of these leaves away just so we can see what's going on here. The first thing to look for is the color. If you planted an orange pumpkin, you want it to be orange. If it's mostly green still, it's probably not ripe. This one looks excellent, very uniformly colored. The next thing you can do is give it a thump. So if you hear a nice hollow sound, that's another good sign that it's ready. The other one is how hard the skin or the rind of the pumpkin is. So you can take your fingernail, which I have, sorry, sad excuse for fingernails, but see if you can easily pierce the rind with your fingernail. I can't even get mine in there. If your fingernail goes in easily, it's probably not ready yet. If it barely makes an indent or you can't get it in, then you're ready, good to go. And the last sign is stem. So if your stem is hard and darker green, then it's ready. If it's still soft and light green, then it needs more time. So once you've determined that your pumpkin or squash is ready to be picked, you want to use a pair of sharp pruners or a knife to cut the stem, and you want to cut the stem as long as you can. It'll help it keep longer, it's prettier, you know, good stems are really desirable, especially like if you're buying pumpkins to decorate with. But I am going to be storing quite a number of these in our root cellar this fall and winter, and so we want to make sure they have a good long stem. So I've got my Falcos here, and we're just going to go ahead and harvest this one. So I'm just going to go in and cut this right where the stem meets the main branch here. Just like that. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's a beauty. This is a Connecticut field right here. So I'm going to start my Connecticut field pumpkin pile right here. I think I planted 3 hills and they're all kind of in the same spot. And there it is out there looking all cute. I cannot wait to keep picking to see what's in here. This is such an exciting day. I feel like I've waited forever for this, even though it hasn't been that long. But a couple of other things. Pumpkins and squash do not store for very long if you're putting them in a sunny spot. So, and I know that can't be avoided always. If you've got a front porch that faces west or south or something that's just a very hot spot, a couple of things, you can just make sure your pumpkin is absolutely ready. Like by all the signs that I just showed you to be picked, it will last a little bit longer than if you were to pick it prematurely. If you're the type who likes to decorate really early, you might have to swap a pumpkin or 2 out if you want it to last the full season. And then the rest of them that I'm not going to be using to decorate with, I'm going to be storing in our root cellar, which we will probably be keeping I'm guessing at around 50, 55 degrees or something around there. And that's typically, they like a 50 to 60 degree temperature range. So the ones I'm storing, like there's sweet meat and there's butternuts and acorns and things like that that we'll be putting in there. They should last for several months at that temperature. And we'll talk about all of those things later on when we do our root cellar video, because different varieties will store for longer than others. And I also kind of want to talk about temperatures, because I am storing several different things in our root cellar, you know, not just the pumpkins and squash, but onions and potatoes and peppers and stuff like that. So we've got to find some common ground since they're all in the same spot. So we'll figure out temperature a little bit later on. But for right now, I just want to get them all harvested. So let's just get after it. Big one?
We'll leave those pumpkins there. Let's go get new pumpkins.
You want to help me pick some, baby?
Let's go get some new pumpkins in the pumpkin patch. You gonna toss it to me?
Good job, baby. Here's another one, sweetie.
Thank you.
You would do real well in a pumpkin toss.
Yeah. Here, let's go set them down. Let's go walk over here and we'll set them down. We'll create a pile, okay?
Big pile. Right here.
Right there? Why don't we create our pile right here, Benjamin?
That's a good spot. Here, Benjamin. Want to put that in your pile?
Put that right here.
Good job. Oh, yep. Yep. Gotta have a good sized pile.
Put a big pile. Big pile right here. And that one down here.
Do you want to get two? I don't think this one's quite ready, but we'll cut it anyway. There you go. All right, so I haven't done an official count yet, but look at all of these. So many beautiful things. I am thrilled, and this is a good majority of what was out there. There's still a couple of vines that had things that just weren't quite there. I picked a couple of things, like if it was on the line of being ripe or not, I would pick it today because we trampled the vines pretty good. And I'm not sure, even the ones I left on there, I'm hoping we didn't trample those vines, so we'll just have to see how it goes. And I'm not sure how much of that we actually captured, because we were so thrilled, so excited, and Benjamin was so excited that I think the camera turned off about midway through harvest. So doesn't matter. I want to give you a tour of all of these things. I can't even believe it, you guys. I can't even believe it. Like, all of those came out of here, and there are some vines that only, like the bigger varieties, only usually produce like 2 or 3 fruit per vine, and I only did like 2 hills of some of the varieties, so I am just so pleased. I went ahead for most of them. I wrote down what the variety name was so that you could see it. I suppose we could have put it on the screen. I didn't think about that. Oh well, it helped me organize everything. So we'll start on this end. We've got some white acorn squash here. There's 10 of them that came off of one plant. Those were actually planted on the west side. So they were planted in the moon garden in the corner. That's the only place I harvested other than just this patch. And these are so fun to decorate with. I love it. I saw one time somebody lined them up on a mantle and did gold letters that said like Thanksgiving or thankful or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but I remember it being striking. Next one, which this vine, there were only 5 ready. The rest I left, but these look like Halloween, don't they? They also look excellent, like if you were to hollow them out and do like a soup, a baked squash with a soup in the middle. They're great for that. Like a really nice size squash. Then we've got the Taybell acorn squash, which I actually have 2 piles of. We'll run across the other one here in a minute. But these none of these have been cleaned yet, but these look really pretty and shiny when they've been cleaned up. Really good for eating. I really like acorn squash. And then we've got Connecticut field pumpkins, quite a number of them, a couple of which kind of like accidentally harvested those. They're not quite orange yet, but that's okay. We like some variation in color. There are actually a few left. There's like this one right here. And then this one's kind of a monster. Let me show you. Like this one is really large, but it's pretty green. The stem looks good. Like I could harvest it and just use it as a green pumpkin, but I thought I would let it sit out here for a little while longer. And I'm seeing 2 more squash that I missed. I think that I could walk this space over and over again and I would keep finding things. Hold on, I gotta add these to the pile. All right, I got those squash cut, and I do think I have about 8 or 10 of the Connecticut field pumpkins left out here that are just pretty much green still, so we'll just keep checking on them. So after that, we have a variety called One Too Many, which I bought from a farm stand last year, and I really liked it. I only got 4, but they're pretty good size. I mean, it's a pretty good sized pumpkin right there. And one of them came out more blue, or kind of like a sagey green and white. Oh, hey Russell. But I thought that these were really pretty, so I was excited to grow those. Next up are the fairy tales, which should be a different color than they are right here. They should be like more along the lines of this right here. So they were picked a little bit before they were done, but the stems were nice, the rinds were nice, and we trampled that vine. And I just thought, you know what, let's just get them picked and we'll use them to decorate. And honestly, we got enough variation in color, and there's some pinks up there and a lot of orange up there that I think we're okay. And I love the structure. Aren't those the most gorgeous things? I don't even care that they're not orange. They look beautiful just the way they are. Next, we have this beautiful icy blue squash. This is what it's called, right there. And I think out of everything that we grew, this has the best shelf life. They're like a sweetmeat, and they're beautiful. So I will be storing some of these in the cellar and using a few to decorate with. Then we've got a couple that are really similar. In fact, I feel like that one belongs in that pile. I'm not real sure. They all came out kind of in a jumble, but this one's called Strawberry Crown. And then there were only 2 that I picked, and they aren't fully colored yet, but this is what it's called. And I think they're beautiful. Look at this, kind of a muted color. I think one of my bigger takeaways this year was spacing them better, because I felt like the fairy tales and this one here, I had to harvest them, even though I left a few on the vine of this variety, because we had to walk on vines to get all the rest of them out. Had I spaced them properly or further apart, or just, I guess, left everything out here until really late, till they were all ripe, but I don't want to do that because I want to decorate with some. But I think that's the only case where having them close together works. So I just kind of felt like these 2 varieties, I just needed to get harvested. Absolutely gorgeous. And like super wonderful, dense, like super hard rind, super hard stems. Next up are the flat stackers. Now these are impressive. They are so heavy. These are probably the heavier ones out of all of them that we grew. And I think the white is beautiful, and they are gonna be nice to stack. I haven't done much research on this one to know if it's like really good for eating or not, or if it's more of just a specialty decorating type. To look into that. Here are more of the Taybell acorns right there. And then I forgot to make a sign for this one, but these are the Jack B. Little pumpkins. There are more on the vine, but they weren't quite ready. I planted those late. And then this variety, there were just the 2 that were close to being ready. I think these are super interesting to look at. Really interesting markings on their rind. And then we've got the beautiful porcelain dolls. Aren't those so pretty? Oh, I just think they're so gorgeous. The color. We got pretty good stems on most all of these things. Oh, we've got a few more of the fairy tales right here. These are also really heavy. They're big. And then the other one I forgot to make a tag. These are the sugar pie pumpkins. These also went in late. You can see I picked a few green ones. They had really good stems, but I wanted the green for variation. But I think that these are so cute, and they create such like thick stems. And I only picked one of these, and it was an accident. I left all the rest of them out there. The honey nut butternut squash are not ready. They all pretty much look like this right now. So I think they should all be this color. And I think we pretty much steer cleared of the vine. So I think we'll be able to harvest these, but just a little bit later. Then we have this guy. I don't really know where it belongs. I think I put it close to the Cinderellas because I feel like that's the most feasible. Like, I don't know. Kind of looks like it belongs in that lot. Oh, Benjamin. There we go. Cinderellas are always really fun though, really good to stack, really pretty color. These are really interesting. These are called Quaker Pie Pumpkins, and I think they're gorgeous. They have a really interesting color. It's kind of like the lightest sage green ever with a tiny bit of pink, like a tannish pink variegation. I don't even know how to, that's how I describe it. I don't know how. Then we've got the Pipian from Tuxpan Squash, which are the more rounded ones here, and a lot of them. Look at that pile. And then we've got North Falkland Island Squash, which are the more squatty ones. They look very similar in coloring, but that's the Pipian from Tuxpan. North Falkland Island. And there's quite a few of those right in there. And then these great big ones are the green striped cushaw. Is that how you say that? Cushaw? Cushaw? Big old beastie squash, and a lot of them. Then we've got Yokohama squash. I think that these might be one of my favorites. I don't know why, but I think they're so interesting to look at. And they've got kind of a warty appearance while not being warty, if that makes sense. They're just so cool looking. Unlike anything I've ever grown. And amazing stems. Look at that. Sometimes like these right here give you hardly anything. Like that is as big as the stem as I could get without like main branch. But these allowed for a lot of room to cut. And then I got a no-name pile. I don't know what these are. These weren't quite ready. I don't think. They're close. I mean, the stems are really firm. They're still pretty green though. So I'll just have to watch those, and I don't even know what kind they are. So I'm gonna run through just really quick and get a count for today's harvest, just so we know. I don't know, I think it'd be fun to know. 345 pumpkins and squash. Now I counted 350, but I subtracted 5. It's kind of hard to tell when they're little and stacked in piles, so I subtracted 5 just for my error, possible error. There, and that's just amazing to me. I cannot believe that there are that many, knowing that there are more out here that possibly have time to ripen and change color and get to where they need to be. And that's so many to decorate with, to save in our root cellar, to give away. I plan to take some to do a decorating project in our city. We plan to do a project later on this week, and I'm just like beyond. I can't even explain it. Can't even explain it. I mean, they went in late. They went in just this random spot, but I do feel like, well, the soil's a lot better than I thought it was. One, they got full sun all day long. They never had a moment when they were in the shade. I think that that is really important. They also had consistent water. Now I did add biotin land and sea compost when I planted, just a little bit right in the area where I put the seed, but I never fertilized them again after that. They had just got consistent water after that point. So I feel like this is amazing. And we had a great time picking them. I did find 3 black widows on 3 different squash. So every single one that I cut and picked, I was just inspecting it to make sure there wasn't any black widows on it. We don't have a lot of those typically, but we found 4 out here just in this space this year. So, you know, I haven't found any in our old garden. I don't know, is that what I should call it? Old garden, new garden, whatever, you guys know what I mean. I haven't seen one over there. So having 4 in this one space, I'm like, oh boy. I don't mind spiders, but black widows, don't love those. So here are my takeaways from this year. Definitely amend the soil, make sure you have irrigation set up, space them out a little bit further. I had these rows spaced 6 feet apart, and then I spaced the hills 6.5 feet apart. I think I would have been better with 8. I think the vines still would have grown together, but it would given us a tiny bit more room. I also would space things, or plant things rather, based on their maturity date. So if you've got a bunch of small things that want to mature quick, I would do them all in one row so that you could pick them all kind of at the same time and not be afraid to trample a vine of something else that needs to stay out here longer. I would also pay attention to the surrounding, like there's one squash that got caught in the fence over here. In fact, I just posted a picture of it. It's one of the cushaw, green striped cushaw squash over there. I would just be mindful. I mean, we'll just eat that one first. I'll just cut it out of the fence and we'll eat it. But I also had one stuck in the obelisk over there too, and I had to really work on getting that out. But if you pay attention to those things when they're smaller, then you know they won't get stuck. And in terms of the amount of varieties, super happy with that. I think I would plant a lot of these same things again, and I don't feel like I am lacking anything really. Like maybe if I wanted to do a whole bunch more porch decorating or whatever, we would need more like carving type regular pumpkins like the Connecticut field, so maybe we'll up that a little bit, but overall super happy with it. Oh, now Cheddar's out here. I just want to take one last quick look through these just so you can kind of see them all at one time. Hey Cheddar, hey buddy. I would love to know which one of these is your favorite. So that's gonna be it for today's project. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing this harvest. I sure enjoyed myself. It was so much fun. it was fun to see Benjamin when he came out here. He had his arms up in the air, and I don't know if we actually captured it on camera, but he was going, "Pumpkin patch!" He was so excited. And it was just so, like, it's such a moment for me because, like, last year he didn't care about pumpkins. He didn't really know what was going on, and now he's starting to get it, and it's gonna get fun. I'm so excited. Not that it hasn't been fun, you know what I mean. Like, when they start to enjoy those things and understand, it's just awesome. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're having a great day, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.